welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Study General Studies with Lukmaan IAS for building comprehensive knowledge. GS paper 2 and 4 will be taken by S. Ansari and other papers will be covered by renowned faculties. Live classes are as effective as offline classes. The classes are highly interactive in nature. Your doubts and queries will be addressed and there will be dictation of notes. In the last 10 years, Lukmaan IAS has set up a niche in the field of UPSC guidance.
All right. Yes, good morning everyone. 2nd June 2022. Let's see which are the important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes. Look at the first page. GST collections jumped 44% to almost 1.141 lakh crore in May month. Now this is less than as compared to last month. You can see the graph or bar chart that is given. So from that we can understand the April month collections were the highest in last 5 years, and now last month it has declined from that. Okay, so why it has declined? Why let's say GST collections were very high last month? ये सारी चीज़ें यहाँ पे mention की है. हमें reasons जानना चाहिए. Okay. Now come to page number 6 directly, editorial page. A case for community-oriented health services, a very good article written on ASHA workers. Recently, the World Health Organization has recognized the work of ASHA workers, especially during the pandemic times, in let's say providing the access to the public health system in rural areas, especially acting as a link between community and the public health services that are provided in rural areas. So with that context, this article is written. In first part, it is talking about the genesis of ASHA, the basics of how it started. Then in the second part, it talks about the past challenges that it had faced, how this was overcome by the government, and what are the present challenges faced by ASHA workers, and the solution measures are mentioned as a way forward in the end. There can be specific question from GS2 paper governance part here. Okay, so we are expecting specific question on ASHA workers. Okay. Then on bottom side, challenge of reforming death penalty sentencing. Although we discussed the similar article when this judgment, Manoj case of Supreme Court, recently the verdict related to death penalty. So we discussed that, but again we will revise that. Why? Because the writer herself is one of the, let's say, advocate, or we can say advocate in or represented the appellant in that Manoj case. So that's why she may be giving the first hand experience, or we can say that the genuine opinion regarding this particular case, right? So that's why we'll further revise this GS2 paper polity part. On left hand side, choppy waters. So it is talking about the status of Indian economy at present. So recently the quarter 4 data of last year was released, and the overall annual growth rate was said to be 8.7% of GDP growth and 8.1 of GVA. So this shows that there is economic recovery, but this economic recovery is not fueled by the consumption pattern or increase in the private consumption. Rather it is fueled by, we can say that, increase in the FDI. Along with that, there is increase in the public spending, capital investment by the government. So there should be more and more private consumption so as to have long-term sustainable economic growth, right? So this, with this context, the article is written, GS3 paper economy part. On right hand side, op-ed page, a very good article written by R.K. Raghavan, former CBI director. He writes article from GS3 paper security perspective, GS2 paper law enforcement agencies and their issues, and GS4 paper ethics So we can say that the values in civil services and all this, let's say ethics in public administration part, ethics paper. Now this article is having context of recent, let's say NCB fiasco, like Aryan Khan case last year happened, Riya Chakravarti case happened last year. So it is specifically with the context of NCB, Narcotics Control Bureau, right? So we will understand the details here from GS2 as well as GS4 paper. Okay, text and context not that much relevant. On page number 9, how the Indus Treaty was signed. Yesterday itself we discussed details about Indus Water Treaty 1960 and Permanent Indus Water Commission. Yesterday or day before yesterday? Okay, but yes, in recent past only we have discussed because this meeting happened recently. So this from archives, it is talking, the past article is reprinted here. Okay. Now what is Turing test? Turing machine? सुना होगा ना? कुछ साल पहले एक फेमस मूवी आया था ट्यूरिंग मशीन के ऊपर. Okay, so the Turing test, named after British mathematician Alan Turing, was a concept proposed to test if a machine could deceive person into thinking it was human. That is Turing test. Okay, so if the machine can deceive the human, like for example chatbots are there nowadays, they ask whether you are a bot or you are a robot. ऐसा पूछते हैं ना वहाँ पे, हमें no बोलना पड़ता है, या फिर जो इमेज आता है उसमें लेटर्स लिखने पड़ते हैं, न्यूमेरिकल्स लिखने पड़ते हैं बेसिकली. हाँ, so basically we should understand it is checking that whether the machine is deceiving the person acting as the person. ठीक है, तो ये हमें पता होना चाहिए. ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट, it can be asked in prelims examination, right? Okay, now moving on, come to page number 12 directly. A helpline for abandoned wives of NRIs. So yes, many times what happens is the Indian women are married to NRIs, persons of Indian origin, and what happens is they are facing a lot of legal issues when, let's say, they get the divorce and the citizenship issues and all these things. So how they can get the legal help and what is the, let's say, areas of jurisdiction, all these things are, let's say, discussed in one of the debate that was organized by this NCW, National Commission for Women. So yes, with that context, we will revise National Commission of Women statutory body, its composition and mandate, all these things we will cover from prelims perspective, polity part. Okay, statutory bodies and constitutional bodies, there can be question in prelims examination. Okay. Yes, unfortunate death of KK, singer. ठीक है. Then yes, campaign on to boost vaccine coverage. Again, Har Ghar Dastak 2.0 campaign. Last year we have seen the first campaign was started. Har Ghar Dastak means basically the government is reaching out to the people directly and let's say seeking to vaccinate those people who are not completely vaccinated, fully vaccinated up till now. So Har Ghar Dastak, it is related to vaccination campaign. Door-to-door campaign. हाँ, door-to-door campaign. Okay. Fine. So let us discuss these articles now. A case for community-oriented health services. Okay, with the context of ASHA workers winning the Global Health Award by the WHO. Okay, so about ASHA workers. This ASHA workers or this, let's say, post was created in 2005 under NRHM, government program, National Rural Health Mission, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Okay, so National Rural Health Mission, under it ASHA workers were, we can say, instituted. Basically these are voluntary workers from the community itself. Okay, they are community representatives. They are trained for the workers, work they are supposed to do. Okay, so what role they are playing, you can see that vaccination campaign, and then reducing maternal mortality by continuously providing the benefits of ICDS, ensuring that the pregnant women, lactating women are receiving the nutrition. All these aspects is resulting reducing maternal mortality. It is also ensuring that the women are getting the institutional deliveries. Then improving newborn survival, again ICDS scheme is very important here, reducing infant mortality rate, greater access to the treatment for common illness. So it is basically creating awareness about the kind of health services provided in PHC, primary healthcare service centers. Okay, so yes, this is the role played by them, and for that purpose they are given some training, and they are going door to door in the village. Basically one ASHA worker per 1000, let's say, population in rural area. And initially it was, let's say, implemented in rural area, but through National Urban Health Mission, it was also started implementation in urban areas. Okay, so in urban areas it is one ASHA worker per 2000 population. This can be asked in prelims examination, so that's why we are covering the basics here. Okay, so you should also know that this number is more than 10 lakh at present in India, and all of them are, so it is all women workforce, we can say that. Fine. So, and the age between 25 to 45. Okay, so this is how you should know basics about ASHA workers. Now, how this particular institute was created, or the workforce was created. So yes, before ASHA workers also there was community volunteers. That particular position was created, but that was not successful. But through the let's say one scheme that was implemented in Chhattisgarh, the name is Mitanin. Okay, so they are actually called as Friends of Women. ठीक है, तो from this initiative the inspiration was taken. It was a well designed scheme, and this was implemented later at national level as ASHA workers. Okay, the designers of this scheme were part of designing this ASHA scheme, and it was later successful. It proved successful at national level also. Okay, this is the genesis. But yes, the background you should know, the importance of primary healthcare services in rural areas was emphasized through 1978 Alma-Ata Declaration. This was asked in prelims examination. Alma-Ata Declaration is related to which of the following? Alma-Ata Declaration is related to primary healthcare. Primary healthcare. Okay, so after that different countries started such kind of initiatives, and India also initiative was started in the name of community health volunteers, but that was not successful, and later the ASHA workers were instituted on the lines of this Mitanin. Okay, yes. Now the challenges faced in the past and how they were overcome. So this ASHA workers, when this, let's say, workforce was instituted, they faced problem in coordination and communication with people. Okay, so initially they were not successful in providing these healthcare services to the people, and this problem, this challenge was overcome by linking 3 A's in the rural areas. What are these 3 A's? This is Asha workers, Anganwadi workers, and third one is auxiliary nurse midwives together. So Anganwadi workers are for midday meal scheme and education, we can say pre-primary levels. Then auxiliary nurse midwives is specially, we can say, healthcare. Yes, so they are providing cutting edge level healthcare services in primary healthcare centers. And now Asha workers are basically providing that link between A&M and community. So all these 3 were connected in the village, and then a network was created that was successful in, we can say, the intention, the objective of Asha. But at present also there are several challenges faced by Asha workers. Okay, among these 3 A's, Asha workers not having fixed pay. Other 2 are having fixed pay. Anganwadi workers, A&Ms, they are having fixed pay. And these Anganwadi workers, and they are under particular scheme with the fixed designation under government scheme. Fixed designation is there. Rather, Asha workers are volunteers. Okay, and it is performance based pay for Asha workers. It is performance based pay. If they are not performing well, usko kam ho jayega. Okay, then not having fixed pay, then there is, we can say, no minimum wage applied to them, delay in wages, no capacity building, no social security benefits of the government schemes to them. Okay, no capacity building, and because of this, no career progression. No career progression.
Until retirement,
same position, same pay they are receiving. So that's why it is kind of limiting factor, and that's why Asha workers in different states, they are protesting for, we can say, these reasons. Okay, now solution measures. What solution measures? Exactly opposite to this you can talk about is in terms of solution measure, first there should be fixed pay, or minimum wages should be fixed, and on above that there should be flexibility to earn on the basis of performance. There should not be limit for that pay also. It can be more than the statutory pay of the government employees also. ऐसा नहीं कि वो मतलब बहुत एकदम कम उनको पे करना है, काम कर रहे हैं तो भी. This should not be the approach. Okay, second thing is that they should be provided with government scheme benefits, social securities. Okay, being Asha workers, the government schemes or social security schemes should be extended naturally. जैसे for example Ayushman Bharat scheme, health insurance, it should be automatically extended to Asha workers or other schemes, we can say. Then there should be capacity building so that there is career progression also. Capacity buildings, like Asha workers can be trained for nursing purpose, and then they can be given position of A&Ms. Okay, auxiliary nurse midwives. So of course this is very important component. And fourth, you can let's say give reference that they should be, it should be recognized as government job. At present it is not recognized as government job. Anganwadi workers and A&Ms are government jobs.
they need to recognize the outsourcing also.
Yes, no, outsourcing is that fine, that is recognized, but the problem is it is not having job security. So it is not recognized as government job. So yes, it can be recognized as government job. From we can say that some kind of flexibility can be created here. Okay, like for example performance based, we can say continuation. आप 5 साल काम करिए, आपका performance evaluate करने के बाद आपको permanent किया जाएगा. ऐसा भी हो सकता है ना, right? So this can be mentioned as way forward here. Fine, okay. GS2 paper governance part. Then the challenge of reforming death penalty sentence. Yes, the Manoj case, recently Supreme Court had given judgment in Manoj versus ORS versus others versus state of Madhya Pradesh. So let us understand first of all the essence of this judgment. In this judgment, the Supreme Court has clearly said that the background, the report on background of the person, family background, let's say sociological, socio-economic background of that person, how the person has been, let's say, behaving in the past and after arrest in the prison, all these reports will be, let's say, considered when sentencing is done by the judges. Okay, so this is the outcome of this judgment. Constitutionality of death sentence was upheld in 1980 in Bachan Singh versus State of Punjab case. Everyone knows about this. Okay, so capital punishment in India is legal and it was held constitutional, upheld constitutional in this Bachan Singh case. But in this particular case itself, it was held that the Supreme Court held that the background of the person should be considered while giving sentence. But it was not followed, let's say, later by the judiciary, especially lower judiciary. Lower judiciary has some kind of urgency to give the death sentence. ठीक है, बहुत जल्दी, मतलब एक बार conviction हो गया कि immediately sentence दे देते हैं. Okay, so they are not considering the background and all this reformative aspect जो बोलते हैं हम, वो नहीं consider होता है. There is a deep and acute concern surrounding the procedural fairness on the imposition of death penalty and lack of adequate information about the accused. This is the main concern. Okay, the procedural fairness, whether the investigation was fair, whether the procedure was fair, appropriate, let's say, aspects related to following the procedure were taken into consideration. Hasty, let's say, justice, or when we say that when justice hurried is justice buried. ऐसे सेंटेंस आप लिख सकते हैं आंसर में, justice hurried is justice buried. So of course the procedural justice is very important. So whether that procedural justice is followed, this is actually at question. And second is lack of adequate information about the accused. Whatever the information that judges are having, that is only related to that instance, that crime, okay, that particular incident, but not the background, not the circumstances. So holistic information is not known to the judges. Now, need to analyze past social histories of that person, behaviors and life circumstances of the accused, as a human behavior is product of complex interplay of personal and environmental factors. Okay, it is not always the personal, rather the surrounding, the circumstance also force the person to do certain illegal things or crime also. Okay, so such kind of analysis needs to be mentioned in the answer. Then judgment of Supreme Court in Manoj case is significant for two reasons. First, evidence-based inquiry. Evidence-based, this will be done. And second is that again the background of the person. The reports on background of the person will be sought by the judges, by the experts like psychiatrists and the other social workers. From them, let's say, with the help of them, these people, such reports will be, let's say, scrutinized, and then the sentencing will be done. So that's why in these two aspects, the judgment is very significant. And finally, we can say that the life history approach that needs to be followed here provides one such framework that enables a view of life circumstances of an individual as interconnected to each other. Different life circumstances are, like, for example, suppose the person is having the abuse, sexual abuse in childhood. It has some kind of, let's say, psychological trauma on that person. that person can be, let's say, may become too silent, too shy, or that person may become too violent, too aggressive towards the other gender, we can say, when that person is grown as an adult. ऐसा होता है, and that's why we are talking about the different life circumstances of individual are interconnected. Childhood is interconnected to adulthood. Adulthood is interconnected to the later life of the person. ठीक है, तो ये सारा चीजें कंसिडर होना चाहिए. Okay, especially death sentence, because we are taking the life of the person. ठीक है, yes. Now, choppy waters, status of Indian economy, GS3 paper, economy part. Yes, recently the government data has shown that Indian GDP has grown last year with a percent of 8.7. Earlier we estimated it 8.9%, now it is 8.7%, actual GVA is 8.1%. So this data is given by the government, the actual GDP growth last year. So it needs to be used in the examination. Then, with the reluctant demand and supply chain and input cost woes hurting manufacturing sector. Okay, so manufacturing sector is facing which problems? Less demand, poor demand, weak demand, we can say. Supply chain problems, they have, we can say, disrupted. Then input cost has increased because of higher inflation, commodity prices in the international market. Then this is how manufacturing sector is hurt. But the agriculture and public administration has lifted the fourth quarter numbers for GDP growth. Okay, and slower growth in services and mining over this third quarter, and mild 2% uptick in. Okay, so this is the situation at present, status of economy. Facts are mentioned in the article. It is difficult to remember those numbers. We need not to remember. Okay, quarter wise data is not important. Yearly data is important. Okay, so in terms of analysis, what we should write here, first of all, whatever the growth that has happened, it is positive thing, and that is largely fueled by the public or government capital spending. This has created some kind of demand in the economy. It has created demand in the economy, but this demand is temporary because government cannot spend continuously. It has to stop somewhere, it has to reduce its spending somewhere, and it needs to focus more on, we can say, welfare aspect. Okay, so for that purpose, we should find out the limitation. Second thing is price rise, inflation. At present, it is very high, CPI, WPI both. Now, because of this inflation, and there is increasing interest rates in the economy. Recently, RBI has increased the policy rates. Subsequently, the banks, commercial banks will increase their interest rates also. Right? So, because of that, what will happen? The common people will not have disposable income. Disposable income. And because of this, what will happen? Less private consumption. See, private consumption is very, very important to boost the aggregate demand. And this is, we can say, self boost to the cycle. यहाँ पे externally government intervention की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती है. Okay, so this is very important, but at present this is not there. Right, and because of this, private investment is not happening. Private investment is not happening. So in analysis, you should talk about. Third thing is that yes, economic growth is there, but whether it is inclusive, there is huge economic inequality, and especially because of pandemic, further this inequality has increased. Poverty has surely increased. So, yes, the tide has, we can say, grown, but whether that tide has let's say, raise all boats equally?
It has been only for the
ठीक है?
industrial-
Yes. So only rich people has benefited here. So in analysis, you should also talk about inclusive economic growth. ये हमारा syllabus topic है GS3 mains में, inclusive economic growth. Okay. So yes, you can give the Oxfam report data and all these things you can talk about in analysis here. Fine? Yes. Okay. Now, a flip-flop with several messages. We are talking about the NCB case here, Narcotics Control Bureau, the statutory body. Recently, Director General of NCB, Satya Pradhan, had said investigation against Aryan Khan was motivated. Now, this is very unique. First of all, ऐसा कोई गलती accept नहीं करता है, especially law enforcement agencies. They tend to be diplomatic, giving answers. Okay, but this is good thing, they have accepted their mistake. Okay, this is the first step in rectifying mistake. हमारे life में भी हम basically we tend to not accept these our mistakes in our life, and this becomes the problem, right? Now NCB may have to set its house in order by undertaking clinical review of its procedures and personnel policies, how they are posted, how their, let's say, promotion happens, on what basis the promotion happens, what tasks are given to those people. ये सारी चीज़ें होनी चाहिए ठीक से, अभी इसका रिव्यू होगा चाहिए, इंटरनल रिव्यू. The quantum of discretion to the officers in the middle and lower levels may have to be reduced substantially. Discretion leads to arbitrary decisions many a times. It leads to corruption also. We learn in ethics. Discretion is important, but it also leads to corruption. Okay, so there is always dilemma, but yes, lower level and middle levels officers, for their discretion can be reduced. They needs to follow the procedures in objective manner. Then excessive media attention and political interventions into such cases is going to happen. One cannot deny that. However, the unfortunate victims of this wholesome exchange of fire are the accused persons. Those victims, accused persons, they are actually at the center, who are indicted even before arrival of judicial decision. Like media trials will happen and the common people will declare the accused person as guilty. ये सारी चीज़ें होती रहती है, हमने दोनों केसेस में देखा है. आर्यन खान केस, people started criticizing, accusing the person, let's say being the son of Bollywood star and all these things, the Bollywood culture and everything was under scanner. And then when the Riya Chakravarti case happened, again the Bollywood came under scanner, the drugs case and all these things, drug abuse and all. Okay, so that's why the accused person is basically facing the loss of image, social stigma and all these things, right? Then drug law enforcement agencies are often caught in serious dilemma. And what is that dilemma? First thing, if they do not detain the suspects involved at the earliest stage of investigation, they can be accused of going slow just to favor the accused. On the other hand, if the detainees are subsequently let off for the want of evidence, the agency officials are accused of either human rights violations or dishonesty. So what to do? Again, this dilemma is faced by the officers, law enforcement agencies. And this is true. This is true. Why? Because they do not have complete information. No, complete evidences are not there. On the basis of partial or some evidences, they will arrest the person, detain the person. But let's say due to want of complete evidences, and they have to release, they will get the bail. ये सारी चीजें होती है. And then they are accused of human rights violations and all these things. Yes, ultimately, what is important? Honesty and integrity, the values, civil services values. Honesty in, we can say, controversial investigation rests on the officer's own reputation and his ability to withstand pressure from the various quarters, including ruling political party, including media, political party, civil services, civil society organizations, international organizations, सभी तरफ से प्रेशर होता है इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसीज के ऊपर. हाउ दे विथस्टैंड दैट प्रेशर, इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द इंटीग्रिटी, ऑनेस्टी ऑफ दैट पर्सन एंड द पास्ट इमेज. ठीक है, तो अगर समझो पास्ट में उन्होंने कुछ गलत किया है तो प्रेजेंट सिचुएशन में पास्ट जो है बाहर आता है. राइट, फॉर एग्जाम्पल व्हाट हैपेंड इन समीर वानखेड़े केस. So he was investigating this Aryan Khan case and everything about that officer in the past, everything since the person was, let's say, that inducted into the service, जब से civil service पास हुआ है वो actual में कैसे पास हुआ है, कास्ट सर्टिफिकेट, रिलीजन, ये वो सब बाहर निकला. So you can understand the officer's own reputation. This is very important. This is applied to all of you. See, when you are entering into civil services, your reputation is based on how you follow the civil service values in both or across your public and private life. ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ public life में follow किया, private में नहीं किया. This is not going to happen. And integrity is coherent, or we can say it is across the situation. You cannot be like honest at public place and dishonest in private, or honest in private and dishonest in public. Integrity is, let's say, common across the spectrum. So yes, fine. So this is ethics part. Yeah. This is GS2 part. Okay, fine. Then helpline for abandoned wives of NRIs. Basically, there was one consultation between different stakeholders regarding how the rights of those women or married women to the NRIs, let's say they are getting affected, what can be done for them. So National Helpline for Women Deserted in NRI Marriages and need for dedicated fund to provide assistance to them are among the recommendations at the consultation held by NCW. Okay, so this is fine, but basics of NCW, National Commission for Women. It is statutory body established under National Commission for Women Act 1990. It was established in 1992. It is having mandate to safeguard the constitutional and legal rights of the women, and we can say review all these rights of the women. The commission must consist of chairman, secretary and the other 5 members. All of them are nominated by the central government. See, the word is very important. They are nominated by the central government. There is no appointment committee, selection committee regarding chairman or members here. Powers of civil court are there. You should know that maximum, let's say, appointments to the member and chairman are basically those women of ruling power political party. समझो अभी बीजेपी है रूलिंग पार्टी, तो एनसीडब्ल्यू के चीफ एंड मेंबर्स कौन होंगे? दोज बीजेपी विमेन वर्कर्स और मेंबर्स, एमपीज इन द पास्ट, एमएलएज इन द पास्ट. Okay, so this is basically the problem here. This is criticized on this basis. Yes, yes, of course, that is part of code of conduct. Okay, then the commission regularly publishes a monthly newsletter named Rashtra Mahila in both Hindi and English publication. The present first chairman Jayanti Patnaik, present chairman Rekha Sharma. It is not important, but if you find out the names, Congress member, BJP member. Okay, so yes, despite of being the statutory body, the problem here is this body is not, let's say, exercising its powers in letter and spirit. Why? Because security of tenure is not there. Independence is not there, autonomy is not there.
All are under executive control.
Yes, so this is the problem here. Fine, that is from mains perspective, but prelims के लिए इतना sufficient है. Okay. Lastly, GST collection jumped 44%, almost 1.4 lakh crore in May month. So it is lesser than the last month collections of 1.67 lakh crore. Okay, so why last year we had, sorry, last month, not last year. Okay, why last month, that is April month, we had more collections?
Foreign reserves high exports.
No, see, April month's collections are showing the GST of March month. The April month data is basically of March month collections, and March is financial year ending. So whatever the, let's say, taxpayers filing their quarterly based taxes, this was included there. And most of the taxpayers, they try to complete whatever the tax returns within the financial year. तो end हो रहा था, maximum लोगों ने वो भर दिया है, because of that higher collections. But now again it has reduced here. Okay, so this is the situation. You need to know the trend. We can say that there has been increasing trend last year. Let's see what happens this year now. Okay. Yes. Simple question. Yes, National Commission for Women. So it is neither constitutional nor statutory body. This is incorrect. It is statutory body. Then it consists of one chairman and 5 other members. This is correct, no? यहाँ पे secretary composition में नहीं आता है. It is executive part, है ना? So composition is actually chairman and members always. So then they are nominated by the central government. This is also true. Okay, so 2 and 3 is the correct answer here. Fine? Okay. Any question? Okay, let us stop then. Fine.